Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm George Peck, and I'd like to be the first to personally welcome all of you to this, the 23rd Annual Veteran Salute. And we have a great crowd here, bunch of veterans, and this is something, as a veteran myself, this is something that warms my heart every time I see this. So it's great to see you here. This year, we're honoring one of our most critical elements of our national defense, the National Guard and the Reserve, specifically the Colorado Army and Air National Guard, and the many reservists from all of our services that are stationed here in Colorado. And if you're not familiar with what the Guard and Reserve does, we'll get into that a little bit later, but let me tell you, as a former active duty Air Force guy and having met somebody that served for many, many years, I can tell you when I first started out, there was one idea of what the Guard and Reserve was all about. By the time I left the Air Force, it was an element that was equally important to all of the service branches that we had. So, terribly important group of people, the Guard and Reserve here, and let's welcome them, please. As is our tradition, we begin today's Veteran Salute with a formal presentation of the colors of our services and our great nation. Presenting the colors today and representing all 5 U.S. military services, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force and Coast Guard, are members of the Joint Color Guard from Buckley's Aerospace Data Facility. While this team of volunteers proudly serves the Aurora metropolitan community, their primary duty is to provide intelligence data to agencies that support the defense of the United States and our allies. Doing the honors today are Specialist Sarah DeWeese of the United States Army, Lance Corporal Joshua Williams of the United States Marine Corps, Petty Officer Second Class Robert Hankinson, United States Navy, Airman First Class Christopher Clark, United States Air Force, Petty Officer First Class John Morris, United States Coast Guard, and the riflemen are Private First Class Robert Knudsen of the United States Marine Corps, Private First Class Charles McElhose from the United States Army, and carrying the colors of the United States of America, their team leader, Sergeant Alan Hankins of the United States Army. Joining them today, as is our tradition here at the Veteran Salute, and carrying the flag of the United States Merchant Marine, is Petty Officer Second Class Malcolm Motti. At this time, I ask that you focus your attention on the center aisle for the presentation of the service flags in our national colors by the Aerospace Data Facility Joint Service Color Guard. While you may remain seated through much of this ceremony, so you can sit down here, but I'm going to have a special request here. I would like to see those of you as your flag comes forward. If you're associated with that flag, that's when I'd like to see you all stand up. And I'll give you plenty of warning about standing up before our American flag comes down the aisle here. So let's stay seated until your service flag comes. Then I would like to see those of that service please rise. Our first flag, United States Army. This flag consists of a blue replica of the official seal of the War Office on a pure white background. Beneath the seal is a broad scarlet scroll bearing the inscription in white letters, United States Army. Beneath the scroll is 1775. This banner symbolizes a branch of the military service older than our nation itself. Founded on June 14, 1775 by the Continental Congress, the Army has persevered ever since, performing its mission with great distinction as one of this nation's most steadfast defenders. This banner has flown with valor and honor from the Revolutionary War through Civil and World Wars, Korea and Vietnam, the liberation of the Iraqi people in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and continuing even today with Operation Freedom Sentinel in Afghanistan and Inherent Resolve in Iraq. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States Army. Emblazoned on a sea of scarlet and gold, with its motto, always faithful or Semper Fi, this pennant has at all times been held high, proudly proclaiming the willingness of those under it to serve, regardless of place or condition. This flag represents a branch of the military service that has been the first to fight since November 10th, 1775. As their battle hymn so proudly proclaims, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, this flag symbolizes the time-honored tradition of America's finest expeditionary force. A flag that tells us the Marines have landed and the situation is well in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States Marine Corps. United States Navy. Evolving from the historic naval jack, this ceremonial ensign depicts a long Navy tradition. Enclosed in a cable-laid rope with its dark blue field and golden fringe, the center depicts a three-masted ship, a conventional anchor, and the American eagle. This flag represents ships and men and women who performed so gallantly in the American Revolution, at Tripoli, Lake Champlain, Manila Bay, on Atlantic convoy, at Midway, Leyte, in Korea, Vietnam, and in the Gulf. It symbolizes the projection of naval power by means of aviation, amphibious, and space assets that have evolved through more than 3 centuries of dominance on, over, and under the sea. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States Navy. United States Air Force, our nation's newest service, has their coat of arms centered within their flag. The American bald eagle represents the United States and its awesome air power. The blue background represents the sky they have dominated for more than 6 decades, and the white clouds behind the eagles show the start of a new day unencumbered by conventional thinking. The original 13 colonies are represented by the 13 white encircling stars. This flag represents the only military service that is organized, trained, and equipped to exploit air, space, and cyber power in the defense of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as he comes forward, the flag of the United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. Derived from the banner first flown by the U.S. Revenue Cutter Service when our nation was founded, the colors in the Coast Guard ensign are all symbolic. The color red stands for youth and sacrifice of blood for liberty's sake. The color blue not only stands for justice, but also for the covenant against oppression. And the white symbolizes the desire for light and purity. On this field of pure white, this ensign proudly displays the national coat of arms, 13 stars, the year of its birth, 1790, and its Latin motto, Semper Paratus, always ready. This standard represents a branch of the armed services that has fought in every war, saved thousands of lives from shipwrecks and floods, and rescued hundreds of thousands of people from countless disasters. It is a true beacon of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States Coast Guard. The Merchant Marine. This flag honors America's civilian seafarers who have supported our nation's armed forces in times of war and peace. On this banner are an eagle perched on a red, white, and blue shield and a fouled anchor. Below are the words, "In peace and war," as well as the year 1775, recognizing more than 2 centuries of service to our nation. This ensign has flown proudly over countless vessels and served as a symbol for thousands of seafarers that have put themselves in harm's way in support of our nation's armed forces throughout our history. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States Merchant Marine. And now would you all please rise for the posting of our national colors, followed by the singing of the national anthem by Air Force Technical Sergeant Matthew Miller. I am Old Glory with a most beautiful message. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, I am the symbol of a country that has grown from a small group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. A symbol of liberty and strength, I have traveled far and endured much to carry my message of hope throughout the world. From the frozen forests of Valley Forge to the blood-soaked fields of Gettysburg, the sticky mud of the Marne and the treacherous sands of Iwo Jima. From the icy hills of Korea to the steaming jungles of Vietnam, the burning sands of the Middle East, and the thin mountain air of Afghanistan. From deep below the sea to the airless void of space, I have stood as an emblem of our unity, our thoughts, and our purpose as a nation for more than 200 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Could we please have a hand for the members of the Aerospace Data Facility Color Guard? They always do a tremendous job for us. And for that wonderful rendition of our national anthem by Technical Sergeant Matthew Miller from the 233rd Space Group out of Buckley. And now this is my favorite part. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you the man who's been part of this remarkable ceremony, the Veteran Salute, since its inception nearly a quarter century ago. You're not that old, are you, Rick? Okay. The true master. He's not just the master of ceremonies, but this man is the master. The one and only, Mr. Rick Crandall.
What's up, kids? Were you trick-or-treating last night? Did you bring me anything? That's pathetic. How's everybody doing today? We're all here for the right reason, right? We're here to recognize the men and women of uniform, their families who supported them during their service, the kids that they bore and raised all over the world. And we're here today to say thank you. That's a good reason to be together, isn't it? Are you guys here? Good Lord. How many of you grown-ups out here had too much candy last night and you're in a coma here today? Wake up out there. Okay, I got my work cut out. Oh, I will win. You will not get to leave until I have you in the palm of my hand. I will win this battle. All right, it is great to have you here, the 23rd annual Veteran Salute. How many of you have been here for all 23? 2, and me. Wow, well, thank you for being here for all 23. The first one was at the Aurora Senior Center. There was about 25 of us there, and we had a box lunch, and the day cost you like $1. We raised the prices a little bit since then, didn't we? But it is good to have all of you here, and I want to tell you that we have a pretty special day today. What I hope that you will leave here with today is a better understanding, although I'm speaking to the choir, so I know you get this, but perhaps even a little better understanding that maybe that man or woman that lives next to you leads a dual life, that maybe they're one of our great Colorado citizen soldiers who, when they get asked, go to put out forest fires or to work like in Black Forest that you're going to hear about, or go to evacuate people from floods, or when they're called, go to bad places and leave families here that could use our love and attention and assistance while their loved ones are gone. When you walk out the doors today, I want you to have that sense of, these are folks on my block, in my neighborhood. And I need to be aware that when they need my help, and I need to say thanks every chance I get. That's what we'll accomplish today. These youngsters down here are going to help me get this thing started. You guys ready? Did you practice at all, or are you just, okay, all right, I'm just checking. Coyote Hills Elementary School, ladies and gentlemen. You can see, there you go. These are 4th and 5th graders who are incredibly grateful that they're here and not in the classroom right now. So they want to thank you veterans also for letting them be a part of their day. They are under the direction of Kathleen Krabari. Kathleen, thank you very much. Here they are, Coyote Hills Elementary School. They're going to do a couple of songs for us. The second one you're going to play along with, so pay attention. All right, kids, it's all yours. All right, so next. We've done this always before towards the end of the program. We've moved it up to the beginning this time, which is pretty exciting. We are going to do, the young people from Coyote Hills are going to do the Armed Forces Medley. When you hear your branch of the service being performed, you are free to stand and cheer and hoot and holler. Please remain entirely clothed, but you can do anything else to show your pride for your branch of service, all right? If you don't know your service song, just pick one that sounds kind of cool and stand up then, all right? All right, here we go. Coyote Hills Elementary, the Armed Forces Medley.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Caps off the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. You always know that the army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles on the air, on land and sea. First we fight for rights and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through valley, hill, and shot and shout to win the victory. Never practices our guide, our pledge and loyalty. We're always ready, do or die. I was star we fight for.
Yeah. Wowzer. Coyote Hills Elementary School, 4th and 5th grade. That was awesome. Did you guys think it was good? All right. Get out of here, you knuckleheads. You got to go to school. Besides, they like you way better than they like me. I don't want you standing in front of me. Get out of here. That was a great job, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. They were wonderful. We'll let them get it. I've never known 4th and 5th graders to be this quiet. Are you guys always this quiet? There is no shot. There is no way. I finally figured out why you guys were all so quiet when we started today. You're all Bronco fans, aren't you? Yeah. Hey, they announced this morning Brock is starting this week. All right, you'll go undefeated now, apparently. Ay, ay, ay. That's what it was. It took me a second, but I got it. I got a call at the radio station yesterday. A lady said she was really, really concerned for my well-being, and I said, why? And she said she had been driving over there by Mississippi and Parker, and she saw my picture on a billboard for Haran McConaty, and she thought I had died. I said, no, I don't think they do that after you die. I think maybe... All right. Thank you again, Coyote Hill. Safe trip back to school, guys. You were beautiful. So next up, I would have invited John Barry, Major General John Barry, U.S. Air Force retired and President and CEO of this facility, to come up and speak with you, but he has been otherwise deterred. So they gave me a little note on his behalf to share with you what John would have said if he was here himself. We're here today to honor veterans. President Woodrow Wilson started this tradition with Armistice Day in 1919, proclaiming to us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service. In 1954, Congress expanded this concept, and Armistice Day became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. And John is proud and pleased that we have selected this facility and given them the opportunity to say to all veterans here, thank you for your service. One of the best ways to honor veterans is to honor the freedoms that they protected. Here at Wings Over the Rockies, they celebrate the past year at Lowry, and they're building a campus at Centennial that will celebrate the present and future of aerospace. It will be unique to the nation. The first building, Blue Sky Gallery, will be complete in May. Their gala this year is on Veterans Day, November 11th, where they will celebrate local hometown heroes' Flight for Life, 45 years of civilian ambulatory service influenced by veterans saving lives in Vietnam. So they'd love for you to pick up some information on your way out today. So to John and his tremendous staff here at Wings, thank you very much for opening the doors for us today. All right, let's see if I did this right. Chaplain Dave Nagel, Major Dave Nagel, who I didn't see beforehand, but I'm sure is here for the invocation, is not here. I guess, does that mean I got to do this? Somebody keep an eye on the roof. I start praying God may bring this building down. Here we go. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, what a day, what an opportunity, what a family you've gathered here. Those who have worn the uniform in times of war, in times of peace, and at all times when they were called to defend freedom around the world. We're grateful, Father, for those who are here with us today, those who served, the families that loved and supported them, and the community that continues to rally around them. We do well also, Father, today to remember those who served their country and gave their lives, those that did not return. Many of us carry their names in our hearts. We served beside them, we raised them, and have left them in your gentle care. Today, let's be mindful of what service means and who answers the call, the veterans in our midst. May the meal do well to nourish our bodies. May our time together do well to nourish our spirit. In your most precious name we pray, amen. Okay, that was totally made up. Holy goodness. And the ceiling didn't cave in, so we're all right. Whew. All right, we have a tradition here. We do our POWMIA table. Those who have served and those currently serving the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We're compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and internment. Please join us as we take a moment to recognize our prisoners of war and those who are still missing in action. We call your attention to a small table which occupies a place of dignity and honor near the front of the room. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families today, so we join together to pay our humble tribute to them and bear witness to their continued absence. The table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single red rose in the vase signifies the blood many have shed and sacrificed to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep the faith while awaiting their return. The yellow ribbon on the candle represents the yellow ribbons worn on the lapels of the thousands who demand with unyielding determination a proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us this afternoon. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us today. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back with us. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifices. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Please be seated. And join me in thanking Rich Dustin for taps and Jay Leisure for Amazing Grace. I have to tell, I want to share this. I don't think I've told the big group this. I've told some individual groups about taps. When we built the Colorado Freedom Memorial and dedicated it, it'll be 5 years ago next year. The about third day after we dedicated it, I went out in the middle of the night by myself to the memorial because I wanted to make sure everything was working properly with the lighting and all that. And so there I was sitting out in the park. If you've been out there, you know I was sitting in the wall in front of it, and I was kind of tickled with myself. There was the Colorado Freedom Memorial I had thought about for all those years, and it was right there in front of me, and look at me. And all of a sudden, tap starts. And I'm the only one out there. And I'm not playing taps. And I thought, it's true. They do play music when they come to take you. I figured I might as well just lay down because it was the end. And then it occurred to me it was coming from Buckley across the street. And I was really glad nobody was there to see what an idiot I had just made of myself. So yeah, it's part of why the memorial ended up being in the most perfect place it could have been. That honor every night. All right, your lunch is being served. And while you're dining, you could be free to talk, but you would be probably better served if you paid attention to the stage and welcomed for your lunchtime entertainment today, the Denver Dolls. Come on, dolls!
Well, hello, everybody. Just wait a minute for our sound helper to play our music, and we are so thrilled to be here today. We are the Denver Dolls. Gentlemen, you can go ahead and press play. Although we're pretty good at singing a cappella, too. Can everybody give a little bit of a round of applause, maybe, for that beautiful taps and that beautiful Amazing Grace?
Actually, we need you to start at the beginning of our set. So, Chattanooga, thank you so much.
Just make it work. Is anybody getting fed yet? Is everybody hungry?
Also, a big shout out to the ROTC, who's actually going to be serving your meals for you today.
Yes.
They're actually volunteering for you folks today. So
aren't they-
absolutely. A wonderful group of people.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Are you in the 60-minute set or the 32?
32 minutes.
All right, we'll go with that.
Go ahead and
You
restart
start it
this
over.
one. We'll make it work. We promise we're going to sing for you.
We're the Denver Dolls. Here we go.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you, I was lonesome. Then you came inside, dear, my heart grew light, and this whole world seemed new to me. Swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. So I've racked my brain, help me to explain all the things that you do to me. By mere Mr. Shane, please let me explain. By mere Mr. Shane means you're grand. By mere Mr. Shane, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even say Wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain shame. So kiss me and say you'll understand. By mere fist of shame, you've heard it all before, but let me try to explain. By mere fist of shame means that you're grand. By mere fist of shame, it's such a refrain, and yet I should explain. I am begging for your hand. I could say Bella, Bella, even say wonderful. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. Reedy, 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 reedy.
We are the Denver Dolls with year-round sound, and we are just thrilled to be here with you today at the Wings Over the Rockies Veteran Salute. We think you all are pretty darn good looking. Why, you look just like the cat's pajamas to me.
Well, I think you're the bee's knees. I think you're the cat's meow. I could say Bella, Bella, even say wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain by mere fist of shame. So kiss me and say that you will understand. So yes, we are the Denver Dolls with year-round sound, and I'm gonna salute you with this next one. He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the cap went out and drafted a band. Now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A root, a toot, a tootly-otta-toot. He blows an A to the bar. A boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the basic guitar is played with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. And when he plays boogie woogie music, he was busy as a busy bee. And when he plays, he makes the company jump A to the bar. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Da 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 tootly-otta, tootly-otta, toot-toot, he blows it A to the bar. And blowing note unless the basic guitar isn't with them. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Here we go.
Boys asleep with boogie every night. He wakes them up the same way in the early ride. They clap their hands and stamp their feet, because they know how he plays when something gets him the beat. He really breaks it up when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Da 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 da. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. It has just been such a pleasure this morning to greet a lot of you in person. If anyone would like a picture after the show, we would just love to meet you. We love meeting our veterans.
We do, we do. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Dawn.
Hi,
We
Cliff.
did love meeting you.
We do love meeting you.
So one of the other things that we'd like to share with you is we know that in many of the uniforms that you all wear, the colors and badges that you wear have meaning, and we'd love to share that meaning with you later. I wrote my mother. I wrote my father. And now I'm writing you too. I'm sure of mother. I'm sure of father. And now I wanna be sure, very, very sure of you. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me till I come marching home. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me till I come marching home. I'm so afraid of the plans we made underneath those moonlit skies. We'll fade away or start to stray if the stars get in your eyes. So don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me till I come marching home. Don't you sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but her. No, 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 not a single soul but me. No, no, no. Don't you sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me till I come marching home. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me till I come marching home. I'm so afraid of the plans we made underneath those moonlit skies. We'll fade away or start to stray if the stars get in your eyes. So don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me till I come marching home. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me till I come marching home.
Well, I don't know about you, but I have this fascination with birds, and I think this next song might be about my favorite bird.
It's Felix. He's up each morning bright and early to wake up all the neighborhood, to bring to every boy and girlie his happy serenade on wood. Hear him picking out a melody, peck, peck, pecking at the same old tree. He's as happy as a bumblebee all day long. To serenade your lady, just find a tree that's shady. And when you hear that tick, a tick, 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 a tick, 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 a tick, tick, sing right along. Come on and try his rhythm and let your heart beat with them. Just listen to that tick, a tick, 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 a tick, tick, happy little woodpecker song. To serenade your little lady, lady in blue, just find a tree that's very shady. tick-a-tick, tick-a-tick, happy little woodpecker song. So we'd love to introduce ourselves personally. We are the Denver Dolls, and my name is Sarah.
And you can call me Bianca.
And my name is Heather, but you can call me anytime.
Heather.
Thank you.
Quite the crowd.
Quite the flirt.
Oh, let's just sing another song for them.
Mister, what you callin', what you doing tonight? Hope you're in the mood because I'm feeling just right. How's about a corner with a table for two, where the music's mellow, it's a gay rendezvous. There's a chance of dancing with a new attitude. You gotta do some dancing to get in the mood. Sister, what you callin', that's a kindly idea. Something swing-a-dilla would be good to my ear. Everybody must agree that dancing has charms when you have the certain one you love in your arms. Stepping out with you would be a sweet interlude, a builder of a that'll put me in the mood. In the mood, that's it, I got it. In the mood, you wanna hot it. In the mood, oh what a hot hit. Be alive and get the jive, you gotta learn how. Hep, 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 hep like a heifer. Pep, 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 oh there's a pepper. Step, 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 step like a stepper. We're mugging or hugging, we're in the mood now. Mister, what you callin', all you needed was fun. You could see the wonders that this evening has done. Your feet were so heavy till they hardly could move. Now they're light as feathers and you're right in the groove. You were really hungry for some musical food. You're positively, absolutely in the mood. Sister, what you callin', I'm indebted to you. It all goes to show what good influence can do. Never felt so happy and so fully alive. Seems a jam and jumping is a powerful jive. Swingaroo is giving me a new attitude. My heart is full of rhythm and I'm in the mood. In the mood, that's it, 'cause I got it and I'm in the mood. Your ear will spot it when you're in the mood. Be alive and get the jive, you gotta learn how. Hep, 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 your hep like a heifer full of pep, pep, pep. Your heart as a pepper and a step, 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 step like a step. We're mugging and now we're hugging, 'cause we're in the mood.
Thank you.
Next one is a classic for you.
We're gonna move up a decade and for this one.
Yeah.
Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum 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 bum. Give him the word that I'm not a rover. Bum bum bum. And tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Bum 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 bum. Don't have nobody to call my own. Bum bum bum. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Give him a pair of eyes with a come hither gleam. Give him a lonely heart like Pagliacci, and lots of wavy hair like Liberace. Sandman, someone to hold, bum bum bum, would be so peachy before I'm too old. Bum bum bum, please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman,
Yes.
bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum 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 bum. Give him the word that I'm not a rover. Bum bum bum. And tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Bum 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 bum. Don't have nobody to call my own. Bum bum bum. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me. Please, please bring me. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Thank you so much.
Anybody get some sugar out there yet? Saw those cookies.
Sugar time.
Sugar time, sugar time, sugar time, sugar time. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time. Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at supper time. Be my little honey and love me all the time.
Put your arms around me and swear by the stars above. You'll be mine forever to the heavens, my love.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time. Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at supper time. Be my little honey and love me all the time. Put your arms around me and swear by the stars above. You'll be mine forever through the heavens, my love. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time.
Now sugar time.
Time is any time
That you're near.
near or just appear.
So don't you roam.
Roam, just be my
Honeycomb.
honeycomb. We'll live in a heaven of love. Oh, honey, sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time. Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at supper time. Be my little honey and love me all the time.
Say, Bianca,
What's a buzzin', cousin?
don't we sing a song about a train station?
Train station.
You know, Bianca, about a train junction?
Oh, you mean Tuxedo Junction?
Yes,
of
ma'am.
course.
Feeling low, rock me slow. Want to go right back where I belong. Feeling low, rock me slow. Want to go right back where I belong. Way down south in Birmingham, I mean south in Alabama, an old place where people go to dance the night away. They all dive or walk for miles to get jive. That southern style, an old jive that makes you want to dance till break of day. It's a junction where the town folk meet at each function in their come on down. You'll find me there, so long town. I'm heading for Tuxedo Junction now. There's a place down in Dixie where everybody is hep, where they all get together singing and shouting all the day, feeling low, rocking slow and easy, and I want to go right back to the junction called Tuxedo. That's where I belong, that's where I do belong. It's a junction where the town folk meet, they all meet at each function, happy junction. In their tux, they will all be there to greet you. Come on down, forget your cares, come on down. You'll find me there, so long town. I'm heading for Tuxedo Junction now.
Thank you so very much. We'd like to just salute all of our veterans and sing Happy Veterans Day to you.
Happy Veterans Day to you. Happy Veterans Day to you. Happy Veterans Day, Happy Veterans Day, Happy Veterans Day to you. Walu, walu, la la la. Walu, walu, la la la. Happy, happy Veterans Day to you.
Happy Veterans Day, everyone.
And thank you. So earlier in the set, I mentioned that we have a few items on our uniforms that offer some meaning, and I just want to share why we wear a red flower. We were performing for a really wonderful organization recently that benefits veterans who are healing from all kinds of situations, and we were incredibly honored to be there. And an organization for prisoners of war and missing in action service members was there and offered us red flowers to wear for our uniforms, and we thought it was such an amazing opportunity to have that, to honor the prisoners of war and missing in action service members. So now, moving forward, we'll always wear a red flower on our uniform to remember.
Thank you. Incredible experience.
We're going to sing one more song for you.
Buzzer took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzer tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and he said, "Listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of jiving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzer told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of jiving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. The boys have told the monkey you're choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free. Monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said,
Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie.
straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.
Fly right, everybody. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us. What an honor to be here. We are the Denver Dolls.
I just wanted to say before we go that my dad was a Marine. Semper Fi. He was the best dad in the world and an amazing man. He's no longer with us, but if he were alive today, he would have loved to be here. So, God bless you all.
I had the best joke about Marines, and now I can't even use it. Great. Oh, jeez. How about those Denver Dolls, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, ladies. And how about Air Force Junior ROTC 21st Squadron cadets who have been serving your lunch, along with a lot of great military and civilian volunteers? All right, I'll probably take all kinds of, crap for this, but it's time for me to do some special guest introductions. And I'm going to say up front that there are a lot of politicians who are here today because it's an election next week. Lots of them. And rather than me forgetting one or two because I didn't know you were here because I can't see you real well from up here, and then being in trouble because it's an election year and I didn't do equal. So I'm just going to say at this time, if you are an elected official or a candidate for office, would you please stand so we could cheer for you all at the same time? All of our political candidates, those currently serving, thank you for indulging me with that. That was a ticking time bomb I didn't want to have go off. So thank you so much for that. Now I am, because of the nature of the day, going to recognize some of our military leaders who are here with us today and ask them to stand. I'll start with the Adjutant General of Colorado, Major General Michael Lowe. Representing ARPC, the Air Reserve Personnel Center, their commander, Brigadier General Ellen Moore. Representing the 460th Space Wing, Buckley Air Force Base, Colonel David Miller, commander. Representing the Aerospace Data Facility in Colorado, the commander, Colonel Chris Bovak. Representing the Colorado Air National Guard, the 140th Wing, the relatively new commander, Colonel Brian Turner. And on behalf of the City of Aurora Veteran Affairs Commission, I want to be sure to welcome their chair, the commissioners certainly, but their chair, Suleiman Kamara, who is with us today as well. Thank you, Aurora Veteran Affairs Commission. All right. And our very special guests of the day today, members of the Colorado Air and Army National Guard, and you reservists who are there, stand up, our current Guard and Reserve members who we're honoring here today at this ceremony. Where are you all? I can tell you that this event, which started 23 years ago in my morning radio show, would not have possibly continued and gained the stature and status that it has without the work of some pretty remarkable people. And that's the team from Aurora Parks, Recreation, and Open Space, the pros folks, especially the team in special events, led by Jessica Hernandez, and then Sherry Jo Morgan, who has been at the head of this event. Jill and Crystal and Aaron and Josh and Tim, that whole team. I cannot tell you, these are folks that mostly don't have a whole lot of military background in them. So we have been acronyming the crap out of them for about 8 months right now, and they still have no idea what an ADF from an ROTC and they've learned, though. They've picked it up quickly. They are brilliant. They are passionate about honoring you. The funny thing about this is they're taking this moment. They're all behind this thing eating right now. But please join me in a very boisterous thank you to the City of Aurora and Parks, Recreation, and Open Space for putting this event together today. And of course, the planning committee and everybody that was involved as well. Obviously, an event like this doesn't happen without support from the local business community. Our 5-star sponsor, again this year, many of you know my wife has suffered through a couple of strokes, and both times her speech was affected, and both times Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital restored her speech and brought her back to us better than before. And frankly, I've told them, maybe you did too good of a job, because all of a sudden my honey-do list was longer than ever before. But for years, Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital has been the presenting sponsor of this event. And join me in thanking them. Thank you, Spalding, for the great work you do. Thanks also to the team over at my radio station, Cruisin' 1430. You know, back in the day, we played the stuff the Denver Dolls were singing. Please, I know you wish we still were. I know. Some people actually like this newer music we're playing that's still 60 years old. But thank you to Cruisin' 1430 for allowing us to promote this event. Thank you also to our 4-star sponsor, 50 Plus Marketplace and Wings Over the Rockies Air and Space Museum. Thank you. Our 3-star sponsors, Cherry Creek Schools, the Denver Hospice, Wayne Stewart Elder Law PC, Westera Credit Union, and the longest line in the building this morning, the Starbucks containers. Thank you to all of our 3-star sponsors. You'll find all of our 1- and 2-star sponsors listed in your guest program and on the screens, I believe, for you to see up there. Without the generous support of all these sponsors, the Aurora Veteran Salute wouldn't be possible, so thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to invite up here the mayor of A-Town, the fine mayor of the city of Aurora, who's not running for re-election, so I'm going to let him talk. Please welcome to the stage Aurora Mayor Steve Hogan.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to see so many people here. This is the 6th time that I've had the honor to appear as mayor. And usually what I do is come up and read a proclamation and let it go at that. I think this time, in addition to reading the proclamation, I'm just going to take another couple of minutes. You know, this is a great time to be in Aurora, whether it is the successes that we're having related to the creation of jobs, and not just the creation of jobs, but jobs where people can work with names like Amazon and UPS and Kroger and others. It is a good time. Light rail, commuter rail, a community that is functioning well, a low unemployment rate, just all kinds of good news for this city. But we couldn't have that good news without recognizing where we've been and what we've done. And every time that I appear, personally, there are memories and thank yous that I want to and regularly do repeat within my own family. My great uncle, who served in Europe in World War I and was gassed in the trenches. My father, who served in the Navy in the Pacific in World War II. My uncle, who served in Korea in the early 1950s, and others in my family who we always find a way to thank even though they've passed on. In the city of Aurora itself, we're almost 100 years of military community history in this city. Whether it was Fitzsimmons Army Base or the Lowry Air Force Base or Buckley, we have not just a few years, not just a few decades, but a century of thank yous to the thousands and thousands and thousands of men and women who have come through this community or settled in this community or come back to this community after serving the rest of us. So we can't find a way as a city to say enough thank yous. And I just wanted to reflect on that for a moment, because if we don't remember where we came from, we'll never know where we're going. And with that, I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas the veterans of all of our military services have been responsible for our national security for over 2 centuries and have thereby contributed enormously to the well-being of our nation. And whereas the growth and prosperity of this city of Aurora and its associated community have depended in large part upon the initiative, resolve, and entrepreneurship of thousands of veterans who have made this community their home. And whereas the military experience of these citizens have permeated the fabric of our community and is the hallmark of our daily living, and whereas we honor all lives tragically lost in brutal warfare and must never forget the spirit of patriotism, service, and loyalty, and whereas November 2017 is a time to remember, appreciate, and celebrate Aurora's military heritage for their contributions, and whereas the City of Aurora would like to enhance the observance of Veterans Recognition Month by specifically noting the families of the brave men and women who have served in all branches of the military, and whereas Maury W. Smith is the City of Aurora's Veterans 2017 Volunteer of the Year, now therefore I, Stephen D. Hogan, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2017 as Veterans Recognition Month in the City of Aurora, and encourage the support of planned activities celebrating this month within the city and our metro area. Again, it is just an unbelievable honor to be serving as the mayor of this great city, and an unbelievable honor to publicly say thank you to so many people. Thank you.
Maury, where are you? I know Maury Smith is here, who's Aurora's Veteran of the Year. And it's back over there. All right, now, so listen, so hear me out here. Maury says I got to be out of here by 1:20. Because Maury's going to go over to Fort Logan, and Maury's going to do what he does and what he's done for many years. He's going to honor a fallen veteran today by performing as a member of the All Veterans Honor Guard that does some days 10 ceremonies at Fort Logan, providing graveside honors for those who might not otherwise receive them. He's been doing this for years, and it is the coolest thing, and we as a city are grateful that he lets no veteran go unremembered at that time. Maury, thank you very much. You are a very deserving Veteran of the Year. All right, at this time I want to introduce Aurora's Poet Laureate. Oh, yes, we do have a Poet Laureate. And she's not convinced yet that I'm going to say her name right, but I know I am. It's Asetu Django, and she's here to share with you. I did it. It was close. Look at you. Please welcome Aurora's Poet Laureate.
Thank you so much for having me. My parents are with me here today. My stepfather is a veteran. It's also his birthday. I'm not going to draw our attention to him because it'll embarrass him, but if you could just on the count of 3 say happy birthday, John. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, John. All right, and we'll move from that quickly. When I raise my pen to speak of those who have risked their lives, relationships, and sanity just to fight for their country, I am humbled, near silence. This is my job. Somehow, I am supposed to take the wonders of the world and wrap them into something as confining as language, folded up into something definable. This is the role of a poet, to label things, present them as determinate, rote, memorize, and recite on cue. If I know anything about war, it is that I know nothing about war. I am pampered pens and leather-bound journals. I have never donned a combat boot or took orders over gunfire. I have never nursed a fallen soldier or fed someone their last meal. I am a poet, and though I can conflate my duty of self by calling myself some sort of warrior, I do not know half its meaning. I look out before me today and see a room full of warriors, of peacekeepers. I look into your faces, at your uniform, and know you have seen things of which I could never dream. You have endured experiences I could never endure, and even you know that what you have seen is incomprehensible, indescribable, something my finite words could never explain. I can only imagine, a phrase I am sure you hear all too often. I can only imagine. Imagine you've woke up with the taste of sand so thick water could never quench it, that you have inhaled airborne poisons so full that they turn to liquid in your throat. I imagine you have thanked God for the taste of sweat because at least it was not the taste of blood. I imagine survival's guilt. I imagine a homecoming long dreamt of, a fantasy of safety and rest, a dream reality could never live up to. I imagine you stepping onto home soil with an echo chamber of your own thoughts, all of them begging desperately to be spoken. I imagine that echo chamber to be the most isolating thing, for you know, typically a knowing only reserved for God, that what you have seen can never be crafted into words, that neither your children, your spouse, nor the grocery store clerk could ever be brave enough to hear the things you were strong enough to do. This is what I imagine. This is the part of war I cannot reach, stop, nor help. But then there is the part of war I see. I see veterans lining the sidewalks, muddled and homeless. I see a country proud to support the troops abroad, but give no honest gift to the cause of their homecoming. I see brave spirits broken and depleted. I am ashamed at myself, dismayed by my pen. Nothing of value can ever be offered to you, the defenders of life, the only true knowers of death among us. I stand before you humbled. If I had the choice, I would be completely silent, except the two words that I can only find worth saying: thank you.
Holy smokes, that was beautiful. Oh, wow, that was wonderful. Wow, thank you very, very much for that. So now the part of the program that we really, really are excited for you to hear and see, when we take the opportunity to remember those from the Colorado Guard and Reserve who are here with us today, them sharing their story of what they do and what you should know about them. I'll begin by inviting my friend, the Adjutant General of the state of Colorado, up, a 1984 graduate of the Air Force Academy. Standards were a little looser then. He served 7 years on active duty as an F-16 pilot. He has been with the Guard since 1991, the Colorado Air National Guard and National Guard, and now their commander. A great choice. We are in good hands with Major General Michael Lowe.
Hey folks, is this a great day or what? Come on, put it together. See, Rick, they just needed a little bit of food. They're now awake. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly stand before you because I'm going to introduce a few folks here that have been affected by what you all do for us. And it is really honoring the Guard and Reserve today that I want to talk about. Because as we look out there, military service, and especially military service in the Guard and Reserve, is a team sport. And you all are part of that team. And I'm going to talk about that just a little bit. So first, you need to thank the families that support our military members. Because it's those families, as we've been in the longest period of war in our nation's history, that are bearing the brunt of those that serve. In the Guard and Reserve, we go and we train. Then we go and we deploy overseas for both training and combat operations. And it's our families at home, raising kids, doing all the things and keeping those home fires. So please give a big round of applause to all of our family members. Next, that Guard and Reserve model, the model of the militia, the citizen airman, soldier, sailor, Marine, Coast Guard, does not work without the support of coworkers and without the support of our employers. And it is a national security imperative that that support continue. So if you're an employer out there, please hire a veteran. If you're an employer, please hire an active serving member in your National Guard and your Reserve team. And then use their experiences of leadership and service and dedication in your formations. We absolutely need that. And lastly, there's a legacy there. And there's a lot of that legacy sitting in this room. the City of Aurora, Mayor Hogan, the folks that put on this event, the many sponsors that support veterans. You're part of that legacy. Our veterans themselves, we serve on your shoulders, and you led the way. And that legacy of when people come home today and are cheered in airports and are out there absolutely getting welcomed home is because of your legacy. So I thank all the veterans in the crowd today and all those that support. Thank you very much. Now, on behalf of my boss, our governor, Governor John Hickenlooper, I want to share with you the vision of the National Guard today. And this is today's vision. This is what we do today for America and defense of America. First and foremost, we provide ready forces for homeland defense. We provide ready forces to defend freedom around the world, internationally. And we provide ready forces so that when calamity strikes and our citizens are in need, we come to their rescue. That's first and foremost. The second thing we do is we have strong partnerships. They're partnerships with localities like the City of Aurora, with the state, with our national service, our federal services. And then your Colorado Guard actually has many international partnerships. Jordan, right in the middle of the fight today. Slovenia with our state partners. Israel, Home Front Command. Arctic and the Arctic Council and what's going on there. Those partnerships give us the motivation to continue. And then finally, we never lose faith with our service members, with their families, with our veterans, and with all citizens of Colorado. So with that, I'm here to introduce a very special commander. Colonel Bob Davis, please come on up. So, as a way of introducing Colonel Davis, he's from New England, went to a place called Norwich University, became an artilleryman at a young age, spent 23 years growing up in the artillery. He's been a traditional guardsman like myself for those 23 years, and he was selected 2 years ago by the former Adjutant General Mike Edwards to command the 169th Field Artillery Brigade. He has a wife and family, and 2 years ago, they were told, you're going to be deploying to the CENTCOM area. So he was responsible for getting the forces ready. He's going to tell his story in a second. He deployed. He's been home a couple of weeks from spending 9 months, boots on the ground, and fielding the artillery and commanding the Force Field Headquarters for active duty, for Guard, for Reserve, and Coalition forces. And he's been recognized as the best leader and the best force field artillery that CENTCOM has ever seen. Please welcome Colonel Bob Davis.
Thank you, General Lowe, for that kind introduction. It was really too much. What an honor to be part of the Aurora Veteran Salute and to have this opportunity to speak on behalf of the citizen soldiers of the Colorado National Guard. Mayor Hogan, thank you and the City of Aurora for your continued support. To Rick and the Cruising 1430 AM team and all the volunteers and sponsors who helped make the Veteran Salute possible, we thank you for this incredible event. About a month ago, I returned from the Middle East where I commanded the Colorado Army National Guard's 169th Field Artillery Brigade. I've got to say, it's great to be back in the Centennial State. When we left Kuwait, the temperatures were still hovering around 115. In typical Colorado fashion, we got some snow early in October, shortly after our return, and I couldn't have been happier. We deployed approximately 300 men and women from the 169th, and I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about what we did. We had an incredible and diverse mission where we served as a senior field artillery command in the Central Command area of operations. We essentially had three key tasks: provide long-range precision artillery strikes against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, to stand ready to deter other malign influences in the region, and finally to work with other Middle Eastern countries' field artillery forces. The annihilation of ISIS, or as Daesh, as retired Lieutenant Colonel Mitch Utterback, who is here today, justly called them in a Denver Post op-ed a couple years ago, was a big part of what we did. It is becoming increasingly clear that the caliphate has collapsed and will ultimately culminate in the coming months as the Iraqis and other members of the effort have largely taken back their sovereign territory. We led both active and guard forces spread out across Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, and Turkey, and Jordan, where we delivered decisive and effective strikes against ISIS's sanctuary, combat power, and personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to say that Colorado Guards artillerymen played an integral part in targeting and annihilating that evil terrorist threat. One of our supported firing batteries, Colorado's own Bravo, 3rd Battalion, 157th Field Artillery, based just down the street in Aurora on Potomac Avenue, was the first Colorado Guard National Guard unit to actually shoot artillery in combat ever. To give you an idea of the significance of that, they stood up as an artillery outfit in 1955. That is 62 years and many generations of Colorado soldiers who diligently prepared for that opportunity to be the first. And I gotta say, they nailed it. Overall, the 169th conducted thousands of strikes in support of the coalition. Needless to say, that was by far the most exciting and immediately impactful thing we did. I'd like to share a brief story about one of my junior soldiers shared with me as we were returning home. Late one night, he arrived in Kuwait after some R&R after spending many months in Syria, where he was literally living in a foxhole. He and his team were that close to the front. Anyway, while he was waiting for a ride, a bearded stranger came up to him and said that he recognized the soldier shoulder patch. In other words, he knew what unit he came from. He went on to express his deep gratitude for the timeliness and accuracy of the artillery that, quote-unquote, literally saved his hide on several occasions. For an artilleryman, that is the single greatest compliment one can receive and is indicative of the greater effect we had on helping to defeat the enemy while building confidence in our fighting partners. Next, we stood ready to deter other malign influences should their bellicose actions escalate and threaten regional security and the global economy. Beyond ISIS in the Middle East, Iran poses a long-term threat as they aspire to become a hegemon by building military means and influence that is counter to our efforts to stabilize the region. We prepared, drilled, and trained our forces should that situation escalate by conducting multilateral events with our regional partners. And finally, and just as importantly, and for me, what was probably the most rewarding part of our mission, we worked with 9 different countries' artilleries to improve our interoperability and our combined overall readiness. As history tells us, the importance of alliances is in itself a deterrent to war. And when we do fight, we never fight alone. Many of our soldiers had incredible opportunities to experience exotic places and cultures while working and training with armies across the Middle East, to include Jordan, Oman, Kuwait, Lebanon, Egypt, Syria, Saudi Arabia, United, the Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. Needless to say, this is some of the most rewarding work we did. And I gotta tell you, if you want some travel advice, Jordan has endless amounts of history, while Oman is a country of profound beauty. In all of these cases, the strategic nature and impacts of our deployment is as awesome as it demonstrates tactical actions with operational and strategic implications that the Colorado Army National Guard contributed to our global security. Between pre-deployment training, beginning in the fall of 2016, then 9 months overseas, and then redeployment and reintegration, we're gone for about a year. That's a long time. That is a year away from family, friends, and loved ones. That is a year away from our employers and our communities. My wife, Marianne, and daughter, Isabella, are the backbone of my team, and without their love and support, well, I don't know how I or anyone else could do it without that sort of help. My employer, Tendril, is part of that team, and I want to thank them for their unwavering support. Without it, I could never have left Colorado to join the war fight half a world away. More than 5,300 National Guardsmen, Colorado National Guardsmen, and nearly 9,000 reservists serve in Colorado and also need support from the communities we serve. The very foundation of our military is that of an operational reserve, and therefore employer and community support of the Guard and Reserve is a national security imperative. We fully recognize that the sacrifice that we soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen make is shared with our families, employers, and our communities. Therefore, please accept a heartfelt thank you for all your support to our National Guard and Reserve service members. Thank you very much.
First story, straight from the front. Thanks, Bob. Next, I'll transition into what we call the bad day in America. And so if Mitch Utterbach and Doug Fair can kind of approach, and while they're doing that, we're going to run a video. And I call this the highlight video of approximately the last decade of domestic operations. Because while we also do the overseas fight, when it's a bad day and the first responders get overwhelmed, the governor calls out the National Guard. And he sends them out into the communities, leaves families at home in order to protect life and property in Colorado. And as we stand here today, we have supported the floods down in Houston, and I still have 2 teams in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands that are out there today working on behalf of us, helping them over there. So with that, I'll bring up Mitch Utterbach. Mitch is a Green Beret, Special Forces by nature. He also recently retired, and his last job was Director of Operations, head of our interagency department. He would go out on site with the incident commander, and he would work that military to civilian peace and the unique skill sets. So with that, Mitch.
What the general didn't say was, the Colorado National Guard gave me the best possible job you can have in the Colorado National Guard. For those of you still serving, you'd probably think your job is the best. But when General Mike Edwards chose me to be the lead guy to go to the disasters and start advising the county sheriff and the incident commander on the capabilities that the military had in this state to make things better, I felt like I was telling a little kid that was scared, hey, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay because all this green stuff that you paid for with your tax dollars is going to make things better for Americans, which we don't like doing it, but we prefer to do it that way. So I was honored to be asked to find somebody. Mitch, do you know anybody whose life was made better by the response of the National Guard during a major disaster? I know a lot of them, but I decided to ask a neighbor, a friend, Mr. Doug Fair, who lives in Colorado Springs and was significantly impacted by the Black Forest fire in June of 2013. It made international news, and it still affects the lives of people that live down there. So I'm going to invite my friend up here to tell you a little bit about how him and his family were affected, how their lives were changed, and a little bit about his appreciation for what we all in uniform did for him and his family.
Good afternoon. June 11th, 2013 started as an ordinary, beautiful day in the Black Forest. It ended with an unexplained emptiness. The night of June 11th would be our first of 11 nights in a small hotel room. June 11th, 2013 was also a busy day for the Colorado National Guard. As soon as the horrific fire started, plans were made, and soon helicopters were flying, and secure roadblocks were put in place. Over the next month, we as a family began to learn about the asset that the Colorado National Guard is to our state. We felt peace knowing our house was being guarded and the fire was being fought in the best way possible. I have a personal friend in the Guard who, after all of his duties, took the time to walk around our home on a few occasions and give us updates. The long hours in the hotel were made better knowing the Colorado National Guard was protecting us. Long after the fire, I asked each of my girls and my wife what they remembered most about those 11 days. My wife, Claudine, said it was a reality check to think that everything that we owned was on a luggage cart in a matter of a few hours. My oldest daughter, Carson, she remembered everything that she didn't grab. And I know that sounds profound, but we had 36 minutes to get out. Campbell, my middle child, said, well, actually, the hotel food was really good. And then Chloe, my 12-year-old, said, Dad, it was Coco. We were babysitting a little guinea pig, and I left and forgot Coco. But this has a good ending. My golf clubs went back in the garage, and I went back and got Coco. And for me, I have to say it was happy hour at the hotel. It was the first and last time in my life that I attended 11 consecutive happy hours. We had well over $100,000 in damages, but our home was saved. We didn't mind that 80 tiles were broken on our roof from the helicopters dropping water and the firefighters up on our roof looking for hot spots. I have coined a phrase for the Guard. We rarely see you coming, but we know where you have been. This epitomizes the Colorado National Guard. Out of the blue, when we are completely unprepared for disaster, you are there. We get caught up in the lives of our children, and we get comfortable. We forget about Mother Nature, about wind, about flooding, and about fire, but you don't. You have our back, you save us, you protect us. You give us peace the minute you fly by or you roll in. Thank you to all of our extraordinary citizens who are the Colorado National Guard of Colorado. I am thankful to all of you from all walks of life who are vital contributors to the security of our state and nation. When a crisis hits close to home, to us, it is worse than any crisis we watch on Fox News. It is real, and we are afraid. We don't have a clue. Each of you in the Colorado National Guard rarely get the credit you deserve, but you stand ready day after day. You don't thrive on recognition, you thrive on exercising your training and making a difference. You respond to a disaster with compassion at a moment's notice. You allow us to live and dream and safely raise our children, even if that means putting your own dreams and lives on hold. Mitch, thank you for inviting me to today's event. I have been very grateful to the Colorado National Guard for years of their helping numerous acquaintances, family, friends, and clients. Again, from my family to yours, thank you for your service.
We definitely couldn't have said that any better. Doug, on behalf of the Colorado National Guard, have my personal coin, and thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Folks, on your way out, we have our military police out there with a couple of Humvees. Please honor them by stopping by and saying hi. And I got one last thing, and it's really for Rick, Cruz, and Crandall. What started out 23 years ago at Buckley Air National Guard Base in a small dining facility quickly grew into a hangar And then since about '01 has blossomed into 1,000 people coming out here. I can't thank him anymore. Rick, thank you for all you've done for veterans. And since there's a little game this Saturday, go Air Force, beat Army.
What? See, now I feel like the guy in the parade following the horse with the shovel, right? Way to leave me that pile. Thank you very much, General Lowe. Although I would echo those sentiments. Sorry. I was on the staff at the Academy for a lot of years. I was really delighted when I found out that General Moore was going to be in town and available to come be with us today, because I've heard such wonderful things about the job she's doing, the way she's leading. I will tell you that she's responsible for personnel support to nearly 1.3 million Air National Guard, Air Force Reserve, regular Air Force, and retired members, basically the world's largest babysitter, because there's a whole bunch of them in that crowd. She is doing brilliant work as the commander now out at ARPC, at the Air Reserve Personnel Center. And she's going to now can take us from the National Guard story to the Reserve story. Please welcome Brigadier General Ellen Moore, Ohio State. Go Buckeyes.
Well, I'm honored to be here today among the ranks of you who have given your time and service to our great country. Regardless of whether you've served a day, a year, or 20 years, you and your families have made sacrifices that we, the American people, will never understand. From missed birthdays and holidays to time away from those you love, your deeds, whether told or untold, are what make our country great. So for this, we as the American people will forever be in your debt. To all the veterans in the audience, I just want to say thank you. As citizen airman, I've come from a long line of folks who have served both in and out of uniform. Our history, while it is not widely known, is still an important legacy of America's freedom. Formally established in 1948, the Air Force Reserve has contributed forces in multiple conflicts to defend the ideals of democracy and to secure our United States national interests. In the 1950s through the 1960s, the Air Force Reserve mobilized over 166,000 citizen airmen to support the Korean War, the Berlin airlift, and the Cuban crisis. The 1970s and 1980s marked the need for modernization, Air Force Reserve expansion, and the importance of the total force concept. Modernization brought new aircraft into the Air Force Reserve, such as the A-10, the F-16, and the KC-10. In 1973, 2,200 reservists participated in the support of the Israeli airlift. In the late 1980s, Air Force reservists were again called upon, this time participating in Operation Just Cause in Panama in 1989, and also supporting humanitarian and disaster relief efforts after Hurricane Hugo in Charleston, South Carolina. After Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1990, Air Force reservists played a significant role in Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. All told, we had a total of 23,500 reservists who were mobilized for these two campaigns. Following the terrorist acts on September 11, 2001, Air Force Reserve F-16, KC-135, and E-3 AWACS crews flew combat air patrols protecting America's cities. Since that time, Air Force Reserve citizen airmen have made significant contributions to the global war on terrorism, flying close air support, air refueling, airlift, and rescue missions throughout Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Every day around the globe, reservists are deployed, serving right along with their fellow active duty and Guard teammates. Today's total force is a unique blend of active duty reserve and guardsmen working together to keep America safe. The Air Force Reserve contributes to nearly every mission the Air Force participates. In fact, we have 2 special missions that are exclusively conducted by reservists: weather reconnaissance, which are the hurricane hunters, and aerial spray. A 3rd unique mission that we share with the Air National Guard is airborne firefighting. This past summer was significant because for the first time in our nearly 70-year history of the reserve, all 3 special mission units were called to action simultaneously due to a series of catastrophic events throughout the United States. Reserve citizen airmen from across the country conducted weather reconnaissance, aerial spray, and airborne firefighting missions concurrently at different geographic locations throughout the Northern Hemisphere. All 3 capabilities provided significant contributions to our nation's civil authorities during these catastrophic national disasters. As Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." It is upon the shoulders of those gathered here today, all of you, that I humbly stand before you and thank you. It's because of you and the sacrifices your families have made that I get to serve in the greatest Air Force the world has ever seen. You paved the way for those of us that now serve so that our nation continues to be a shining beacon of hope and liberty to all those who are oppressed around the world. Thanks is not nearly enough to convey the appreciation of our nation that we have for your service. I only hope I can continue to live a life deserving of the sacrifices each and every one of you have made. Thank you very much.
All right, and I've got a couple others I want you to hear from, and I'm going to have, I'll invite both of them here and have one follow the other. Representing the Marine Reserve, we have Captain Maxwell Nauta, and representing Navy Reserve, Lieutenant J.G. Diana Ormond. Are the 2 of you here? Well, this program just got shorter. No. Okay, I'm not seeing. All right, very good. Then I'm going to press along, and I'm going to do it by saying this. Now you know, not that you didn't, the folks that live next door and go to work at odd hours and long weekends and 3 months at a time and 9 months at a time and come back maybe a little different. Come back having experienced something that not all of us experience, but then going a second time and then a third. Some upwards now of 5, 6, 7 deployments. They're the citizen soldiers, the people from our communities who go to defend freedom around the world willingly. And I, for one, am incredibly proud of our Colorado National Guard, the Air Guard that wins every award they can give, the Army Guard. You heard the stories. Remarkable people. And I would hope you would join me in one great round of applause for those men and women of the Guard and Reserve and thank them for their service. Thank you so very much. I'll leave you with this couple of items. Over on the radio station table, John's over there, we have about 50 pair of tickets to this new movie that's coming out next week called The Last Flag Flying. Steve Carell is in it. It's a pretty remarkable story of 3 Vietnam veterans who reunite, served in Vietnam. They reunite to help bring one of their sons who was killed in Iraq home for his funeral at home. Amazing movie. We're going to do a special screening of it next Tuesday night. I'll be there. First 50 people, no stampedes, please. We've got tickets over on the table if you would like those. I'm going to close by sharing something quickly with you about the Colorado Freedom Memorial. Next Thursday, we get to fix her. Next Thursday, the new panel of glass will be arriving that will replace the one that was damaged on July 3rd. Many of you heard that story. I'm glad that none of you were with me that morning at 6:30 when I discovered the damage, because my language was not good, my mood was not good, and it took only about 5 hours for that to change when people started showing up from across this great community to say this isn't acceptable and show their support. On July 8th, Saturday, we raised $21,000 in 2 hours. People driving by, just handing checks out the window. Others showing up and refusing to leave, wanting to be there, as if to say, well, come try this again. One of our panels of glass, panel number 6, was damaged, destroyed. Likely vandalism is all they've been able to assess. No idea who it was. But in 4 months in 2 days, we will have replaced the panel of glass, we will have installed a security system, and we will have made the memorial better than it was before, because Coloradans wouldn't stand for it to be damaged. And the panel that was broken was completely clear. It also afforded us the opportunity to add 188 names that we had discovered since the dedication that belonged on the Colorado Freedom Memorial. But it would take something outrageous like this for us to be able to raise the money to replace a panel of glass and add those names. So 188 who fell will be joining their fellow fallen brothers and sisters on Thursday, November 9th. And on Veterans Day, we're going to have an open house in the afternoon, at which we've already been told many Gold Star families will be coming to, and others, to see the replaced panel. Thank you. Thank all of you who supported us, not only when we built the memorial, but when she needed attention. We could not have done this quickly without you. I am grateful. I didn't opt for the security system that blew poison darts if somebody touched the memorial, although I considered it. But maybe we won't be able to stop the next person that tries, but I tell you, our cameras now are so good, we'll be able to tell you what they had for lunch last Thursday. We'll know who they are, and we will find them, and it's not going to happen again. So thank you, everybody. I was at the memorial on July 8th when we had the open house, and a Gold Star mom came up to me and she was crying and her eyes were semi-closed, and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I'm afraid my son is on the panel that was damaged." And I said, "Debbie, open your eyes." And she looked, and I said, "The panel that was damaged didn't have any names on it." And then she cried even harder, so I don't know if I did her any good, but that's what this place means to people. That's how important that memorial is. And so I hope to see a bunch of you out there. We have flyers on the table about the event if you would like to take those. Before you leave, complete the guest survey, leave it on your table. We like your feedback. Also, one program on the tables has a star on it. If that's yours, you get the flowers in the center of the table. Thank you for attending the 2010 Aurora Veterans Salute and helping us honor Colorado's National Guard and Reserve Service members. It is a great honor for me to do this with you. I hope you'll join me again next year. Thank you, veterans, for your service. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.